Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System 22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. We're going to be looking at the Divi Blurb module today. It's one of my favourite modules. You can do so much with it. That's a blurb module. We've just got a logo as an image there. If I roll down the page a little bit, we've got this little hero type parallax section here. Just a little blurb module. I've added a button. I'll show you a couple of cool tricks for adding buttons later on. These are all blurb modules here, perfect for service sections and things like that. Advertising the little services you offer. Of course, you can use them with images and stuff and titles, which is great for storylines or describing your business or anything like that. If we go down below here, I've got a couple of images here. When I hover over, we got a bit of text and an icon that appears. And again, all this is done with blurb modules. I've also got a little floating button up here on the side. That, believe it or not, is a blurb module too. And I've got mine linking, probably if I had an email I'd have it linking to the contact form or contact page. I've just got it linking to our little dark section right here with the images. So there's just a few examples of the things you can do with the blurb module, and I'll show you exactly how to do all of them right now. So let's enable the visual builder. In fact, let's start a new page. And let's call it blurbs. And we'll use the visual builder. I'm going to build from scratch. And here we are. It puts in a section by default and it asks us to put in a row here. Let's put in a single column. Obviously, going to put a blurb module. Everything we do with this video is going to be a blurb module. I'm going to leave it like that, and we'll demonstrate perhaps this little parallax hero type section here. Okay, obviously put your title in there, what you want your title to say up there, obviously whatever you want your text to say down here. This is just a regular WYSIWYG text section. You can align, bold, italicize, add media if you want to, and create titles. I'm going to roll down to image and icon. I'm actually going to use an icon on mine today, and there's a lot of icons to choose from. They've teamed up with Font Awesome. Now you can put a search in here for an icon. You can scroll through this way, or there's a little breakout box here. If you click on it, it'll give you a full screen box to search through for what you're looking for. I'm just going to put computer in there or something. That will do fine. As you see, it's popped a little icon in there as soon as we've done that. Okay, I'm going to leave that right there for the moment. I'm going to put a little image in our section here so this stands out a little bit better. Let's save our changes here. I'm going to go up to the section, blue tab for a section, green tab for a row, dark tab for a module. I'm going to go into the section. Background's always under the content tab. We did a whole video on backgrounds. Check that out if you want to learn how to make complex backgrounds, and you can get some fantastic results. I'm going to add an image. Yeah, I think I used that one last time, well, that'll work. And we got that image in the background now. If we roll down here, I'm going to use a little parallax effect called CSS parallax, which means when I roll up the page, that image will stay exactly where it is. I've got true parallax at the moment. I'm going to put it on CSS. We can't roll at the moment, but when I can roll this page, you'll see the effect that that has there, which is great. Okay, well, let's make this stand out a little bit better and just add a little call to action button. So I'm going to save my section settings. I'm going to go back into the module, dark tab for the module, remember. I'm going to go straight to my design tab over here, or you can just click on the thing you want to edit, hit the little paintbrush. Let's go straight to that icon. I'm going to make it the default blue there. Actually, no, let's make it white. Stands out a bit better. Not going to put a background in. Top's fine. I'm going to take it down in size just a little bit. Probably 50 pixels, something like that. Whatever works for you. All my text, I kind of want it to be in the middle here. So still under design, if you close that image and icon, you've got text underneath. This will do the heading and the content text at the same time. So I'm going to pop everything in the middle there. I'm going to make it light in color. Fantastic, and we've got it there. If we go down, you can do the title and the body text separately if you want to. Either click on the little tabs here or just hit the little paintbrush associated with it. Let's make that uppercase. And Divi has a crazy amount of fonts. Just click on the font, roll over any of these. It'll give you an example. Choose the one you want. I'm going to leave mine on the default today. I am going to make it semi-bold. I am going to capitalize it. I think I'll make it a little bit bigger than that. There we go, something like that. Fantastic. Now at the moment, a blurb module by default is only going to show you 550 pixels wide content. If you want it to take up all the available content, which in this case will be the available row or column that is sitting in the row, go over to your design tab. We're on that at the moment. Let's close up our title text. We've got sizing down here. There's the content width. There's the 550 default. I'm going to change mine to 100%. It'll take up all of the available space, which I say is about the row, which is about here, ends here and here. So let's say 100 and the percent sign. It's now taking up all the available space there. I'm going to take mine down to about 80%, I think. And that works for me. Fantastic. Now, if you've got a really busy picture, that's not too bad, but if you've got a really busy picture and your text is not standing out enough, we can go to our background. Remember, background's always under content here. We can put in a colored background, perhaps like a black. If we give our content here a bit of spacing so it's not buffered right up against the top and bottom there, and then we'll come back to this color, design. Spacing is always under the design tab, under sizing there, and we can add padding, which will give it a bit of breathing space. So let's give it maybe 50 pixels top and 50 pixels bottom. That's plenty. Now I'm going to go back to that color, and what I'm going to do is left click on the color field itself. We've got a variegated slider here. That's opacity. If we start dragging this down, you'll start to see that image bleed through. Just take it down far enough to where you can read that text easily and still see the image through there. For this particular one today, I'm not bothered about it. I'm going to take that color away, leave it just like that. As it's a bit of a hero section, let's add a little call to action button underneath. And later on, I'll show you how you can add any button, a Divi button, to any text type module really easily. So let's just save our changes here. I'm going to add a new module for a little button. There's a button. I'm going to pop it in there. Obviously, with a button, put what you want it to say there. Put the URL where you want to take your people there, obviously. Put a hashtag in for a placeholder. Always best practice, if you're linking to your own site, keep it in the same window. If you're linking to somebody else's site, open it in a new tab. That way your site will stay open. Great, all I want to do is pop that in the middle and we're done with this particular one. There we go, we've got a nice little hero section there with a blurb module and a button. Like I say, later on I'll show you how to add a button really easy to any text type module. Okay, let's save that. Let's see what else we got over here. We've got these great little blurb modules here that you see quite often on pages, advertising services and stuff. Really easy to do, so let's do one of those. I'm going to add a new section. I'm going to make it a regular section. I'm going to use 3 columns in this. Funnily enough, I'm going to use a blurb module. Now for services, you usually have a little title here of what it is. A lot of them don't even have any description down below. If I pull this up, a lot of them don't have a description down below. It'll just be a service and an icon. I'm going to leave a bit of text in there, just to save it like that. Just down below that, we've got image and icon again. I'm going to use an icon this time. And that's, I guess a computer would do for web design. Let's use something like that. And again, obviously you can link it here. You can link the title to one place and the whole module somewhere else. The whole module being everything here. Anywhere they click on it, it'll take them to this URL. Title, only when they click on the title will it take them to that URL. Same best practices apply. Okay, I'm not using a background or an admin label on this. Design wise, all I really want to do for this one is I'm going to change the icon color to that blue that I've been using. I'm going to take it down in the size a little bit. Let's take it down to maybe 50 pixels. That'll work for me. And all I'm going to do for that is I'm going to go up, close up my image and icon. In my text, I'm going to align it to the center. I'm going to go in there to my little title. I'm going to change it from regular to bold. And I'm going to make it that same default blue color right there. I think I might capitalize it. Take it up inside just a little bit. Perfect. And then to duplicate this, really easy. Just hit the two little squares. You've got a duplicate there. Drag one over. Doesn't matter which one. They're all the same. Change out your icon and your title, obviously, and any links you've got. Same thing again. Change out your icon and title once again. Really easy to do. You get some sections going really quickly for that. So that's a little sort of services type thing. Again, really easy to do. If we roll down here, we've got pretty much the default, which is an image with some text underneath. And that's a great thing for, again, advertising your services. Let's pop another little section in. Let's use 2 rows this time, or 2 columns I should say. And again, we're going to use a blurb module. And it's all pretty much the default. I'm going to leave it here. The only thing in is I'll put in a little image. If we roll down, we've got image and icon. Select whatever image you want to pop in there. And you're good to go. And that again is another great little thing for advertising services or whatever it is you want. You've got the same features in all your links. You can link it to anywhere you want. Once you've got one down, so easy to duplicate, pull it across, switch out your text and image, and of course you don't need to do any more styling because you've done it all on the original there. And you see these an awful lot, this type of layout, as I say, describing services or just showing off various aspects of your business. Now we've got these little image hover effects. I showed you when we did the sort of module overview how to create hover effects. It's really easy to do and it is a great effect. It works best on desktop, but it will work on tablet and mobile too, but of course they'll have to tap on it to make that hover effect. To do that, let's just get rid of one of these perhaps. I'm going to delete that one. Guess what I'm going to put in there? Yep, correct. A blurb module. Okay, for this one, I'm not going to use an image or an icon because I want to use the background and then have everything fade in over the top. So you know where to put your title and your content, everything like that. Image and icon, it puts in that placeholder by default. Just roll over it, you'll see a little trash can there. We can get rid of that. We're just left with the actual text itself, which is great. Okay, well, I don't want any image. Obviously you can link this just like any other one. We're not going to use a background, or I don't think I'll use a background. I might in a moment change my mind. Let's show you how this is going to work. I'm going to save this. Okay, we've got a row here. It's got 2 columns in it. Our blurb's sitting in this right hand column, column number 2. The image that we're going to see initially is going to reside in the column. And then we can fade our module in over the top. To do that, go into your row, the green tab. Here's the columns, left one, right one, or 1 and 2. Going to go into column 2. Background, always under content. Background image. Let's pop a little image in there. As you can see, we've got an image in the background there. Can't really read that text or anything well, but that's the idea that we want. So let's save that. We'll go back into our module now. We'll save the main row settings. Back into the module itself, dark tab. And we'll just make it the shape we want with a bit of padding. In fact, let's, for fun, we'll add a little icon. Let's add an icon back. Image and icon under content. Use icon. Yeah, pop in any old icon, that's fine. As you can see, we've got an icon at the top there now. Over to our design. That icon, I'm going to take it down in size. I'm going to make it white in color. We've been using 50 pixel icons. Let's stick with that. It's fine in the middle there. Let's close up our icon there, go down to text down below. Now remember, text does both the title and the content. I'm going to pop it in the middle. I'm going to make it light. And of course, you can make it any color you want down below with title and body text separately right there. I'm going to leave all that pretty much how it is. I'm just going to go down to spacing now. I'm going to make it the actual shape that I want, or the aspect ratio, by using padding to give it a bit of breathing room top and bottom. So padding top, let's give it sort of quite a lot. Let's give it 80 pixels. Maybe a bit too much. Let's say 60 pixels, and I'll hit the chain so it'll put 60 pixels on the bottom as well. Then I'm going to add a bit left and right, perhaps 30 on the left, and I'll hit the chain, it'll give it 30 on the right. Yeah, that works quite well. Everything sort of fits there. We can see a nice sort of landscape type image in the background there. Let's create the hover effect. We're still in our blurb. I don't want to see any of this until I hover over it. I just want to see the image. So I'm going to go back to my content here. I'm going to put a bit of a background in there because I'm losing a bit of that white writing in there. It's getting a little busy there. I'm going to go to background. I'm going to put a black background in there. Hit the color. Click on the field. And again, I'm going to drag the opacity down till I can see enough of that image, but I still want to be able to read that writing really easily. Something like that, maybe a little less even. Great. And now we want to get rid of it completely, so we've just got the image until we hover over it. Really easy to do, no coding involved. Let's go over to our design. I'm going to go down to filters this time, and we'll be doing a whole video on filters because you can do so many amazing things with them. I'm going to roll down to opacity. I'm going to hit the little arrow. Now, common to all Divi modules, if you roll up over the dark writing within a module, you see some little icons appear. If there's an arrow, we can create a hover effect. Click on the little arrow, two little tabs will appear. Desktop is when your mouse is not on it. When the mouse is not on it, I don't want it to be there at all, just like that. I just want to see that nice image. When they put their mouse on it, hover state, click on the hover tab. I want to bring it back so they can read that writing. Click on the link, just like that. Now the time it takes by default with Divi to go from desktop to hover state is 300 milliseconds, just under a third of a second, which is pretty quick. If you want to slow it down for drama or even speed it up, we can do that, and you'll always find under the advanced tab, transitions. There's the default 300, let's double it, let's take it up to about 600. You can slide, you can type in a value. And you can also increment up and down with the little arrows on the end there. Don't want any delay, want it to happen as soon as the mouse hits it. Transition speed curve I tend to use for my hover effects is ease in out. They're all subtly different. Some will work a lot better than others in certain situations. That's my go-to for hover effects though. Great, and we'll just save that. And that's going to work like that. Work better on the front end, it'll be a lot smoother. And again, that's a nice addition to your site. Like I say, we had that over here. I've got one more for you right here, and it's this little floating icon right there, which, believe it or not, is a blurb module. I've got it linked to a little section right there. And I'll show you exactly how to do that. Okay, well, let's add a new row for this. Green button for a row. I'm going to use a single column in this row, and funnily enough, we're going to use a blurb module again. Okay. I don't want any text in mine today, but I'll just leave that title in there. Let's roll this up so you can see what's going on. I'll leave that title in there because I just want to demo something for you. I'm going to take away all of the content. I don't want any content in there whatsoever. I'm going to roll down. I'm going to use an icon for this today. Use any icon you want. I'm going to use a mail icon perhaps to connect to an email section. You can also do it with a phone and put a live phone call button in there, a tel if you want to. But I'm going to use a little email for mine today. That'll work fine. Well, let's go over to our design tab now. Let's hit the little paintbrush. Actually, before we color that, I'm going to, under my content, I'm going to give it a black background. So background under content there. Let's make that black so you can see what's going on a bit better. Now let's go to our icon. I'm going to change it to white. The reason I didn't do it just now is because you wouldn't have been able to see it on the white background there. I'm going to take it down to about 30 pixels. Something like that. Fantastic. The other thing I wanted to show you is you can place your writing or your text on the right hand side of your icon, which is great for lists and things like that. And I'll be doing that in future videos, animated lists and stuff. By clicking the top, put it to left. And you've got your icon on the left now and your little title over here, and you can go into your title and line it up with your icon by using line height. Just make it white in color so you can see it. If you roll down, you've got line height here. If you roll this up, you can line it up right in the middle of your icon, which is awesome for lists and things like that. But I'm going to put that back how it was because I want mine on its own, which is on the top. Great. And I'm going to get rid of that title. I really don't want any text content on mine at all. I just wanted to show you that you could put the icon on the left if you wanted to. Fantastic. Well, I'm going to give this a fixed width and height now. So in design and sizing, I'm going to give it a width of 50 pixels, 50px. Make sure you put the px in there. By default, it may put percentage in for you. And I'm also going to give it the same with the height. Roll down a bit more. There's the height. Again, put in 50. It put in pix as default that time. And just to pop that icon in the middle, we use a bit of spacing. Close up sizing. Spacing is just underneath. Maybe give it 10 pixels padding on the top. We can adjust that later on. Maybe a little bit too much. Great. Well, I want mine to be, my icon there to be round. So I'm going to go to border just below. Make sure the chain is checked. It'll do all four sides. And I'm going to type 50 and the percent sign. And we got a nice round icon there. If you want, you can add a border. If it's going up over darker sections, not a bad idea to have a border. So select all round border. Give it the width you want. I'm going to perhaps 2 pix. You won't see it's black on black at the moment. If I change it to purple, you can see a little 2 pix. I'll bring it up. You can see that border right there. And it looks like we need to adjust our padding. I'm going to make it that. I'm going to make it white in color. And let's take a little bit of that padding away. Scoot that icon up a bit. So that's back in our spacing. I'm going to increment with the little arrows. Yeah, I think that works right there. Great. Well, let's make this fixed position so it stays where it is at all times on our page. To do that, I'm going to do that in the actual row itself. So let's save our changes here. Obviously, under content, put in the link where you want to take your people. Under module link right there, if you want to take them to a contact section or a different page or section, that's where you want to put your link. Great. Well, let's make this fixed position now. I'm going to go into the row, the green tab for the row. Now we made our little module 50 pixels wide. I'm going to make the row the same width by going into design, sizing. Here's width. Again, I'm going to put in 50, but I won't put in pix this time. Let's see if it puts in pix or percentage. Yeah, it put in percentage, which is not going to work. So I want pixels, px. Great, so it's 50 pix wide. Our row is now, and it's popped it in the middle there. I want to take any padding away from the row, just so it doesn't interfere with anything behind it. So let's close up sizing. Here's the spacing. I'm simply going to put it at a 0 in the top, hit the chain, it'll do the bottom. I'm going to do the same for left and right. Now let's put this row where we want it, which for me is sort of somewhere around here, I think. So I'm going to go over to my advanced tab. I'm going to roll down to position. Default is relative. I'm going to go down to fixed, and it's going to disappear when I click on this. Hasn't actually disappeared. It's up behind our header here because it's in the top left corner. We've got a little matrix or grid here. You can put it wherever you want using the little grid here. As you can see, it's scooting it around my screen. I want it probably somewhere about here. So I've put it in the top left. I'm going to roll down. We've got vertical offset. So if I bring this up, I can drag it down to where I want it, probably about there. I'll drag it off the side just slightly by giving it a couple of pixels there. And we're good to go. Let's just roll up here. I'll make this section, well, actually you can see it. I was going to make it dark, but you can see the border around that button over the little hero section at the top there. And if we roll down the page, we want to make sure that it stays on top at all time. That's working. If you have a problem and that doesn't stay on top, go back in the row, if it's going behind any sections here, over to advanced and back down to your positioning here. Roll down, you've got Z index. Now Z index dictates what sits on top of things. So if our little icon there has a Z index of 100 and any of these sections has a Z index of 99 or below, our icon will always appear on top. So if you have problems, go into the section you're having problems with, make sure it's got a lower Z index than your icon there, and that should fix that for you. Let's make sure this is all going to work on the front end. I'm going to save my changes here. We'll save draft. And let's exit the Visual Builder. And there's our little hero section with our button. I was going to show you a little trick. I'll do that right now. There's our fixed position button that you can link to anywhere. There's our little services type blurbs. There's an image blurb. And there's a simple hover effect with the icon and text coming in when you hover over it. Great. Well, let me just show you a little trick. Let's enable the Visual Builder. Now this is a beginner's video, and this really isn't a beginner's tip I'm going to give you. It's kind of advanced, but it's a great thing to know if you want to know it. Let's delete this button here. And I'm going to go back in to my blurb module. And you can do this on any text widget that has, or any widget that has a text field, or any module that has a text field, you can do this on. Right at the end of our advanced setting there, I'm going to drop down. I'm going to create a button. Let's give it 2 spaces maybe. I'm going to say, click here, whatever it is you want your button to say. I'm going to select it. I'm going to go up here and turn it into a link. And obviously, put a link in wherever you want to take your people. Same best practices apply if you're linking to your own site. Leave the target as none. If you're linking to somebody else's site, open it in a new window. Great. When you're happy, hit the OK. Now I don't know if you can see that there. I've got a little link in there. It's light blue because that's my accent color for the site. Now that's not very interesting, but it is a link and you can click on it. If you want to turn that or any piece of text into a Divi button, you can do it with a bit of CSS code. Now all Divi text modules, and most WordPress modules in fact, have a text tab over here. Default you'll be on visual. If we switch it over to text, it gives us the HTML or the code. We've got a link there, then we've got our click here, and we've got a closing anchor tag there. Just before the closing right pointy bracket there, and after the inverted comma, make sure you're after it, we can give it a class name by typing class equals, opening some double inverted commas. Inside those inverted commas, we can give it the Elegant Themes button class. Now I happen to know is ET underscore PB underscore. Watch what happens when I put button in there. Watch that click here. We've now got a default Divi button. And like I say, you can do that anywhere with any piece of text by making it a link and then adding this class name. And I'll put that but just down below the video for anybody who wants to copy and paste it and use it. But it's a really helpful thing to know. So there you go, guys. Let's save our changes here. There's a few awesome things that you can do with the Divi Blurb module. Like I say, one of my favorites. I hope you've enjoyed this video today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you have any questions, pop them below the video. I'll do my best to answer them for you or make a little demo video like this one. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.